Hello, Leafs Nation. Welcome back to Boys in Blue News, your daily space for everything Toronto Maple Leafs. Today, we have a massive update, the kind that shakes the fan base and reignites discussions that have taken over social media in the last few hours. The team continues searching for answers to its defensive crisis, and the pressure only grows as their position in the Eastern Conference remains troubling. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any special coverage on our Leafs. Now, let's dive straight into our big update of the day. Former NHL defenseman proposes Easton Cowan for Rasmus Andersson. The Toronto Maple Leafs defensive crisis has finally reached a boiling point, and management has been scouring the market for solutions that could bring immediate stability to the blue line. The team knows it cannot continue giving up so much space and structural breakdowns, especially in an increasingly competitive Eastern Conference. That's why, in recent days, one name has gained traction behind the scenes: Calgary Flames defenseman Rasmus Andersson. A player known for the exact two-way impact Toronto desperately needs to better protect its own zone, control transitions, and provide quality puck movement from the back end. In theory, he would be the perfect fit to address one of the team's most glaring weaknesses this season. But everything blew up when former NHL defenseman Jason Demers decided to take the debate to another level by proposing a blockbuster trade: Easton Cowan for Andersson. Instead of simply suggesting a hypothetical scenario, Demers went straight to fans with a public question: would you pull the trigger on this trade? Within minutes, his comment gained traction, became a hot topic among insiders, took over social media, and practically split Leafs Nation in half. The reason for the uproar is obvious. Cowan is not just another young player in the system. He is seen as the organization's top offensive prospect, a player with elite hockey IQ, dominant junior production, and flashes that impressed many during his brief stint in the NHL. To many, he represents the future of the team, a future Toronto cannot simply give away. Andersson, on the other hand, brings exactly what the Leafs lack today: experience, stability, and the ability to anchor a top defensive pair. He was a Flames team MVP last season and is recognized as a defender with immediate impact. His contract, carrying a $4.55 million cap hit through 2025 to 26, is considered manageable for his caliber. However, right after that period, he becomes a UFA. And that's where the big question arises. Is it worth giving up an elite prospect for a player who might end up being nothing more than a short-term rental? The risk is clear. Toronto will be gambling its best young asset on something with no guarantee of longevity, especially in a season where the team sits near the bottom of the standings and far from looking like a true Stanley Cup contender. To make things even more complicated, reports such as those from James Myrtle indicate that Calgary has demanded premium assets in the past just to consider discussing an Andersson trade. And there's also the political factor. The Flames ownership is reportedly reluctant to deal with Brad Treliving, who left Calgary under circumstances that still leave some discomfort. In practice, this means any offer involving Andersson has always come with a high price tag, perhaps even higher than Toronto is willing to pay. And when the name on the table is Easton Cowan, the debate reaches an entirely different level. Cowan projects as a legitimate top six forward, with potential to become a first-line player in the coming years. His combination of intelligence, offensive consistency, and work ethic has made him a strategic cornerstone for the franchise's future. Trading this type of talent for immediate help raises questions about priorities. Should Toronto really operate as if it's in win-now mode while sitting far from the top of the standings? Or should the team protect its best young assets and accept that even a partial rebuild might be necessary? On the other hand, some argue that Andersson would quickly solve one of the team's biggest weaknesses, and reinforcing the defense can help salvage the season before it becomes irrecoverable. That is why Demers' proposal sparked such an intense, emotional, and deeply divided debate. On one side, a defense that urgently needs help to keep the team competitive. On the other, what might be Toronto's most valuable piece for the future. It's unclear whether Demers' scenario reflects real market value, or is simply another case of speculation gaining traction online. But one thing is certain. As long as the Leafs continue struggling to find defensive stability and Cowan keeps rising as a special talent, this conversation will remain alive, and Leafs Nation won't stop discussing it anytime soon. And that's it for today, Leafs Nation. A single update, but heavy enough to fuel hours of debate. Now I want to hear from you. Should Toronto consider giving up a talent like Easton Cowan for a top defender like Rasmus Andersson? Do you believe the current competitive window justifies this level of risk? And most importantly, which side do you think would truly win this trade? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you never miss a Hot Leafs update. Thanks for being here. And as always, go Leafs go.